I always believed honesty was the backbone of every relationship. Maybe that's why what happened that night didn't just hurt me. It redefined everything I thought I knew about my wife, Hannah, and about the marriage I had been protecting like a fragile promise. It started with something as harmless as her announcing a girls' night. She'd said it casually, tossing her phone on the couch and slipping her sweater on. I remember smiling, telling her to have fun, even joking about not staying out too late. She kissed my cheek, laughed, and said, "Don't worry, Adam. It's just us girls." Those words played in my head later like a taunt. She came home around 1 a.m. A little more excited than usual, cheeks flushed, hair slightly messy, the kind of messy that doesn't come from dancing at a lounge. She smelled different too. Not bad, just different. Not her perfume. Someone else's. I didn't question her that night. I didn't want to be that husband, the insecure one. But something in my chest twisted as I watched her fall asleep too quickly, too deeply. The next morning everything changed. She was making coffee when she looked at me with this almost guilty softness. The kind of look people get when they're preparing themselves to confess something but aren't sure how to say it. I didn't ask anything. I just waited. Finally she said, "Adam, something happened last night." My stomach didn't drop immediately. It held still like it was waiting for a verdict. Her fingers shook slightly as she wrapped both hands around her mug. "The girls pressured me. They said I should have some fun. And she swallowed hard. I ended up talking to a guy at the bar. He flirted. I flirted back a little. It was stupid." My jaw tightened, but I didn't speak. I needed her to finish without my anger giving her an excuse to soften the truth. "He bought me a drink. I shouldn't have taken it. It wasn't physical. Nothing happened. But I liked the attention. And that scares me." She looked at me like she expected me to explode, to accuse, to interrogate. But I didn't say a word. And the silence clearly terrified her more than any yelling could have. Her confession hovered between us like smoke. Something you could almost touch. Something that stung the longer it stayed in the air. I kept staring at her, not because I was angry, but because I was trying to understand why. Why a woman who once cried when I surprised her with flowers now felt excited by a stranger buying her a drink. Why she was confessing so early in the morning, unprovoked. Why guilt sat so visibly in the curve of her shoulders. She broke first. "Adam, say something. Please." There was a tremble in her voice. A real one. The kind that didn't come from fear of judgment, but fear of losing something she still wanted to keep. I finally inhaled slowly. "Why are you telling me this now?" Her eyes glistened. "Because I didn't sleep last night. I kept thinking about it. I don't know what's happening to me. I feel lost. And I don't want this to become something bigger." Something in me twisted again. A part of me admired her honesty. Another part wondered what she wasn't saying. Honesty rarely arrives without editing. I leaned against the counter. "Did you like him?" She flinched. A small reflexive movement. "No. I liked the attention. It felt new. Different. I didn't expect it." Her hands tightened around her mug until her knuckles whitened. She couldn't even look at me anymore. "And that's the problem," she whispered. "I shouldn't feel that way. I shouldn't enjoy anyone else's attention. I'm your wife." Her voice cracked on the last word. I watched her. The way she folded in on herself, the way she kept waiting for my reaction like it was a life sentence. And suddenly the truth clicked in my mind, sharp and unwelcome. She wasn't confessing because she trusted me. She was confessing because something inside her had already crossed a line. And she was checking to see how much she could admit, without losing everything. "Hannah," I said quietly, "is there anything else you're not telling me?" Her breath hitched, too fast, too panicked. "No. Adam, it was just flirting. Just talking. Nothing more, I swear." But her eyes, those eyes that once never lied to me, wouldn't stay on mine for more than a second. And that told me more than her words ever could. I let the silence stretch, long enough for her to shift in her seat, long enough for the weight of her own words to press down on her. She kept wiping her palms against her leggings, a nervous habit she hadn't shown in years. Finally I spoke. "Hannah, I'm not angry that someone flirted with you. I'm not even angry you liked the attention. I'm angry because you weren't planning to tell me." Her lips parted, but nothing came out. I continued, voice steady but low. "You told me because you're scared. Not because you respect me. Her face fell. That's not true. I do respect you. Do you? I asked softly. Then why was your first instinct to hide it? Why did it take a whole night for your guilt to win? Her breathing shuddered. Adam, please. No, I said, surprising even myself with the firmness in my tone. Let me finish. She froze. I stepped closer but kept a few inches of distance, ensuring the message was emotional, not intimidating. You said it felt new, different, exciting. But you know what bothers me? I paused. It means something in our marriage has been feeling old, dull, and invisible to you. Her eyes filled instantly. She covered her mouth with her hands as a tear slipped out. Not loud, not dramatic, just quiet and devastating. I didn't mean it like that, she whispered. Adam, I've been overwhelmed. Work, pressure, everything. I didn't realize I was needing something I wasn't asking you for. And instead of talking to me, I replied, you opened the door for someone else to slip in. That broke her. She leaned her elbows on the counter and cried into her palms. Not the defensive type of crying, the genuine kind where regret is real but the realization comes too late. I waited. I didn't touch her. Not because I didn't care, but because something in me had shifted. Something I couldn't force back into place. When she lifted her face again, her eyes were red, trembling, desperate. What do we do now? She asked in a small voice. And that was my moment, the moment she never expected. I took a slow breath. We stop pretending, I said quietly. And we start being honest, brutally honest, even if it hurts. Starting now. She blinked, stunned. What do you mean? I looked her straight in the eyes. My reply. I exhaled. It's time you heard how I really feel. And her entire world shifted.